Well, the Trade Union Congress has threatened a massive protest if the federal government does not cancel the cybersecurity levy introduced by the Central Bank of Nigeria. A 0.5% deduction of the value of some transactions will be remitted to the National Cybersecurity Fund, which the Office of the National Security Advisor will administer. The TUC says it is prepared to mobilize all its members, stakeholders, and, quote, the entire masses to embark on an immediate protest that will culminate in the total shutdown of the Nigerian economy. The Nigerian Labour Congress has also rejected the levy, calling it anti-people and another burden on Nigerians during a cost of living crisis. Civil rights organization SERAP has given President Tinubu 48 hours to withdraw the directive. Let's bring in Chukwuemeka Ujam, who is an IT security strategy expert and a former member of the House of Representatives. He's also a former security architect for the Metropolitan Police in the UK. Good to see you and thanks for your time. Yeah, I know being also, you know, you wear so many caps here as someone who has a doctorate in cybersecurity,
biometrics and IT
biometrics, and someone also who is a representative of the people. You caught in between because of the people are saying this is a pain, you know, one pain too much for them to bear. You also have to listen. First, let's start by talking about if this is necessary. Is this a necessary evil or pain for the people?
Thanks. The truth is, it is a necessary pain. The benefits outweigh the temporary pain because we'll get used to it. But as you're getting used to that pain, you're also getting used to the deliverables of the positive effect of having a robust cybersecurity architecture in the country. Mind you, it is also administered by a board, so there's an advisory council. Yes, it's domiciled within the NSA's office, but there's a council which is best practice. In the UK, there's a cybersecurity advisory council.
Well, when you said that there's best practice, you say this is not peculiar to Nigeria.
No, it's not. It's not. The imposition of a levy is not peculiar to Nigeria. Our neighbors, Ghana, have done it. Some African countries have done it. But even in the EU, some of these taxes are masked under the digital services taxes that many countries do apply to certain transactions. So it's not new. You know, it's not novel to Nigeria, not at all. It's just that it's just been introduced now in this country, and so, it's necessary.
When you say it's necessary, let's say I was your constituent, and the TUC is also watching, and the NLC. What amount of good would you be saying to these set of persons or groups to make them want to buy in?
So let's look at it this way. Technology expensive. Securing yourself is expensive. You erect structures and have gates, and to erect those structures costs money. To have those gates costs money. It's the same thing. I mean, it's an analogy, but it's the same thing with cybersecurity. You know, there has to be a fund to fund both research, development, catching up with, because you see, in cybersecurity, the quote unquote the bad guys are always a step ahead. So you need to always make sure, you know, you're either just 1 millimeter behind them, or if you can, pass them. So there has to be robust funding for that. It's never cheap. It's not cheap anywhere. It's not cheap anywhere in the world. You must look at the positive, the impact. I mean, people groan when money is taken from their accounts by unscrupulous individuals. These things are there to stop that kind of menace. So,
sorry, I hope you don't lose your train of thought. Is it too difficult a task for some of these banks and fintechs to actually trace? Because speaking to you, I think some family members have been victims.
True.
And just recently, a well-known actress cried out. So how is it difficult for the banks within such financial institution not to even trace when monies leave one account to another account, to the extent that you left to your pain and sorrow?
So the truth is, it's not difficult for the banks to trace. They should be able to do that. But the thing is that the act has been committed. So, and that's just one tranche of cybersecurity. I mean, you don't want anyone coming into our national security framework and being able to manipulate or even listening on conversations, high top-level government conversations that may impact national security. So the financial bit is different, you know, financial crimes is different, but there are also other cyber crimes encompasses quite a lot. And that's why when you look at the makeup of the advisory council, you know, there are many organs that form part of it. Don't get me wrong, no one likes to pay money. You know, everybody shouts at when they, so we you know, I appreciate that, but is there a benefit to the tax or to the levy? Definitely. Would Nigerians, to my mind, feel the positive impact of it? I believe so. Isn't
this indicative of a total failure of what we've been sold with the BVN, with the NIN, to the extent that it looks like just a few bad guys are still there operating, you know, within that space with no BVN and NIN, to the extent that when they touch and move into your account, these financial institutions can't actually make a trace or recover these?
Well, there's nowhere in the world where there's 100% fail-safe scenario. So there will always be those instances. But that's why, you know, this fund is there to make sure that Nigeria is up to speed and up to date with current trends in such activities. I think what this spells up, because I've thrown through social media. No one is talking about the benefits of it. No one's against it. Everyone's just saying the money. Let's move away from the fact that there's a tax to what's the money going to be used for.
You think that's an easy thing to move away from that? Because it looks like, you know,
one has to focus on that.
Yes, definitely. We'll still come back to that, because it looks like there are too many deductions from an average Nigerian. Even to say happy birthday, that your bank sends a message to you, you're still levied on that text message that comes to say happy birthday to you.
Okay, I understand that, but I believe that the government has also listed you know, some exemptions, and so, you know, one should be a bit more intelligent to find its route under one of the, you know, broad exemption categories. And, you know, it's not everybody that the levy applies to. There are certain transactions it applies to, and certain it does not apply to.
So, as an expert, off the top of your head, what kind of crimes and perhaps criminality will this act or this move by the government tend to solve for us as a people?
So, you know, the truth is that when it comes to security, you can never mention it all. The National Security Advisor's Office, if you were to have a peek into what they do on a daily basis and how they protect the nation, and they're inundated with all kinds of, you know, threats. The threat fabric of the nation is protected by that office, or is, you know, and is advised through that office. And there are so many things that occur daily. Nigerians are gifted, and so are the bad guys in Nigeria gifted. And we have continuous threat within and without. And so, you know, your financial infrastructure can be attacked, military infrastructure can be attacked, and so these are things, or these are areas of the nation that need continuous, robust protection. And I believe the fund would assist in making sure that we are up to date as a country.
Well, as a former lawmaker, aren't you bothered about accountability? This is not the first time Nigerians have been sold such policy, and at the end of the day, because this money will be going into a fund in the office of the NSA, where it's almost shrouded in some form of secrecy.
So remember, I did say that there is a council. There's an advisory council, and, you know, even it's quite broad. It points to one fact, that the citizenry does not trust government, and we should just learn to trust government. There would be, I'm sure there will be times where there will be public fora hearing where what's going on will be dispelled, because yes, I'm sure the government is listening to the groanings, but I still insist it is important that we invest in our security and protection of our architecture.
Let's see if we can close on this. If you were still in the Green Chamber and you were to have a conversation with your colleagues as it relates to the constituents, what would that message be?
Well, one would be to educate the constituents properly and not go with the bandwagon what's going on. There are exemptions. Salaries, for instance, are exempted. Educational transactions are exempted. So I'm sure the government has thought through those areas that affect the common man mostly and has tried to put those exemptions in place. But the other thing I would be telling my constituents if I was still if I was still in the Green Chambers or whichever chamber, would be to explain the benefits of protecting the nation.
Well, I'd like to speak on this pretty much later. Let's see how we can expand the conversation. But for now, we'd like to thank you for your time, Chukwuemeka Ujam, former lawmaker and a strategy expert and an IT expert.